Hey everyone, Joe from Racer Records, Racer Joe, whatever. Joe from On AV, On a Vinyl. There's a few different places that I am now in the VC. I haven't done a lot of things on this channel, which is where you're going to find this, which is Racer Records, because I kind of went back to work after being retired for a little bit, back to where I used to work. And we opened up a little vinyl shop inside of On AV, the mothership, as I like to call it, the home automation AV store that I used to work at. So I've been doing videos for that. I haven't been doing a whole bunch for my channel. I did one for my friend Daryl, who I do the Wednesday Night Live with. He's been a year in the VC. Check that one out. Check his out as well. But other than that, I really haven't been doing a whole bunch because I've been doing stuff for the store. But I have always been a fan of Mike, MGK Boston, MGK Buffalo, as Rob likes to call him, and of course his lovely wife Patty as well. And I am, fries are done. Ding, fries are done. There they are. The two good looking folks now residing in the wonderful city of Buffalo, New York. My condolences, by the way, guys. Patty, I guess more specifically. This is post the game. My daughter is a Chiefs fan. We'll leave it at that. So again, my condolences. Despite the fact my daughter is a Chiefs fan, I was kind of pulling a little bit for the Bills. But I digress. Anyway, it is the push to 1 trillion subscribers. We just got him to 1 billion last year. Now we're going to try and get Mike up to 1 trillion subscribers. I'm not sure where we're at right now. I think we're into the triple digit billions. I'm not positive, but we're going to try and get him up there. So 10 questions, which I've got written on this piece of paper, and we'll refer to, and let's get her done. Of course, the prize is cheesecake. You said you'd drive to Toronto for Brian. You said you'd drive up to see our buddy Rob. I don't know if you'll come to Western Canada, but maybe I'll go east and then we can all meet at the same time. So there you go. All right. Without further ado and without much further rambling, because although that is usually my modus operandi, I will try and not do that a whole bunch. So 10 questions. This is the push to 1 trillion subscribers video. Why do I have this pen in my hand? I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep it in my pen hand now. My hand. Never mind. Question number 1, vacation. Where would you like to go? And if you haven't been, where would you go? So, two-parter. I've got 2 albums. No, I've got 1 album that represents 2 parts of the first part of my answer, and then I've got another one. Where I like to go is I like to go to Vegas. It's fun. There's always a ton of stuff to go and see and do. I'm not a gambler. I'm not a partier, but lots of concerts. And with that said, part of that is I did get a chance to see these guys, U2, in Vegas last year. Actually, is it 2 years ago now? Christ, it might be 2 years ago. But anyway, and I'll move my phone out of the way so that stops dinging. It's still going to ding. It's just going to be over there and a little, not as close to the mic. But I'm not starting over. And you know me, it's one take, had a spec. Anyway, I like to go to Vegas for a lot of reasons. We like to go to the Cirque du Soleil shows. We like to just have fun, bomb around town, have a good time. But I also like to go to Vegas to see concerts, including U2 at the Sphere, and I want to go see something again at the Sphere. So hopefully that's something that can be accomplished in the next little bit, despite stuff going on in the lower 48. All right, and a place that I would like to be and go that I have not yet been, and this will be, I think, a fairly good representation of the part of the world that it is Eastern Canada. I've been as far as just into Quebec. I was in Ottawa, and if you go over the bridge and over the river, you're into Quebec a little bit. So I haven't been to Montreal, and I would love to see that. But then I'd also like to go a little further east, and that's where Stompin' Tom comes in. Stompin' Tom Connors, of course, a pretty good representation of Eastern Canadian music in Eastern Canada. For those that don't know, check out Stompin' Tom. You've all probably maybe heard the hockey song, but there's a ton of other good stuff. It's really definitely rootsy, great, fantastic Canadian music. So check out Stompin' Tom. So I want to come see my friend Curtis on the East Coast, and I want to go and visit a bunch of places out on the East Coast. So I think Joanne and I are probably going to maybe fly to Montreal, stay there for a couple of days, then head east, drive around, do all that, and then drive back. So there you go. Vegas, and the complete and opposite antithesis, I don't know if that's the right word, which is Eastern Canada. So, question number 2: name a solo artist that everyone likes that you're not a big fan of. There's another Stompin' Tom. I don't hate this guy, despite the fact that my good buddy Rob from Northern Revolutions brings up the fact that I hate him all the time. I am sick and tired of him. But hate is a strong word. I don't like to use it, and I don't hate him. I just don't really ever want to hear a whole bunch of his music ever again. There are a couple of pockets that I don't mind from time to time, but if I never ever hear a Bryan Adams song again, I'm good. Part of that, part of that is I used to deliver water, like the big jugs of water, and the only opportunity I had in that delivery vehicle was the radio. So I listened to a lot of radio, and I listened to a station that played Bryan Adams ad nauseum. And I could have picked a different station, but I enjoyed almost everything else on that station. They just played the living hell out of Bryan Adams. And God forbid if it's his birthday, because then it's all Bryan Adams all day, and that's all you ever get. So hate, no. Never really want to hear a whole bunch from again, yes. The next one was basically somewhat the same question, but a band that a bunch of people enjoy and you're not a big fan of. Again, I'm not going to use the word hate because that's not the case. And I have some of their music. Obviously, I had some of Brian's as well. But let's say a band that seems to be very popular that I don't get or listen to a whole bunch, other than this album, and that is the Grateful Dead. I understand the brilliance of them. To see them live would probably be a whole different scenario. Well, to have seen them live would have been a whole different scenario. I'm just not a big jam band, and I know that's not exactly what they are, but I'm just not a big jam band kind of a guy. This album's pretty decent. There's lots of good songs. It's just the band that kind of came to mind when I saw the question. All right, what is next? Show a jazz album. So I am arguably a drummer, but I would even argue the fact that I'm a drummer. I can keep a very, very basic beat. I think I can play a couple of songs. I can play Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen, and there's a Kim Mitchell song, Easy to Tame, that I could probably get through if I practiced enough before I actually had to play it live. But with all of that said, I love the drums. Peter Criss from Kiss. Yeah, to go into drummers is ridiculous. Of course, the greatest or the greatest A and A1 is from Canada, Neil from Rush. But if there wasn't, arguably, if there wasn't a Buddy Rich, the Buddy Rich big band, there might not have been a Neil Peart. There probably would have been still regardless, but that's my A and A1, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. You know what I mean. But there's the jazz album, and just unbelievable. Put it on and just listen to Buddy play the sticks and the drums. It's just unbelievably good. Fantastic. I've got some of his stuff. I need a little bit more, but there is a jazz album. Up next is a country and western album. Lots to choose from, actually. I'm not a huge fan, but I do enjoy a lot of it. I like the Outlaw Guys. I think that, kind of what most of us listen to. That say we're not really into country, but we like some. Maybe that's a broad statement, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I did used to work at a country radio station for a year and change. So it's not that I haven't listened to a whole bunch of it, but I haven't listened to a whole bunch of it lately. Let's put it that way. But I do have some. With that said, I have been recently turned on, no pun intended, by, again, my good buddy Rob from Northern Revolutions, who I do a Wednesday night live chat with. Rob and Daryl and I. Join us if you see this and you're not already joining us. Wednesday nights at 8. Anyway, he suggested an artist a number of times, and I thankfully have finally come across some of her vinyl, and it is this young lady, and it is Lindy Ortega. If a label needs to be put on it, which it doesn't necessarily have to have a label, but the way that I have sort of started to describe it as is sultry, modern Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris. And I'm not sure if that's fair or not, but I listened to it again just actually before I did this video. I definitely hear the Dolly influence in it. But then I guess if you're a female country star, there is going to be a Dolly Parton influence in it to a certain extent, I would imagine. But Little Red Boots, fantastic album. thankfully was able to find it, and I really, really enjoy it. So check out Lindy. I don't know for sure that she's making music currently. Hopefully she is. And if you get a chance to go see her, I understand that to be a fantastic show as well. So Lindy Ortega and Little Red Boots. Up next is what's up next? I just went by the list in your comments, Mike. I didn't go in the order you went in. I don't know if that will deduct points from my final score or not, but that's the way I did it. Favorite sports team and or athlete of all time. I'm a big racing fan. I'm a big baseball fan. I do enjoy hockey. I wouldn't say I'm a big hockey fan, which is odd a bit for a Canadian, but all the same. But probably my number one sport. Again, auto racing, not just NASCAR, but IndyCar, F1, all of that stuff is probably again an A and an A1 with football. With that said, and I have never worn my Saskatchewan Roughriders, I don't believe, shirts in any of my videos before because they are polarizing because we are a rabid fan base, which I think most fan bases are, but we don't have a lot of other, we don't have any other professional teams here in the province of Saskatchewan. Hard to spell, although not that bad, but easy to draw. So we take our football in this province seriously, and from when you're a young fan, young child, up until you pass. Most, not everyone, but most are Saskatchewan Roughriders fans. But with that said, and we haven't won a whole hell of a lot. We've only won 4 championships in way many more years than I would like to explain, and so I'll leave it at that. But I think we kind of drive other fan bases nuts because we talk about being the best fan base, whether we are or not, arguably. We're definitely one of the most rabid, but are we the best? I would argue that as of late anyway, but we haven't been that good for a few years, but we're getting better again. Anyway, I'm digressing, or I should digress. I digress. A lot of people don't like the Saskatchewan Roughriders, so I don't wear the shirt very often. In fact, again, I don't believe I've ever worn it for a video before. But that's the sports team, and that's the sport. And then with that said, I actually do have. I don't know how many have an album from their favorite band and or artist. I think if you're a wrestling fan, right? There's the Hulk Hogan one. I haven't watched a lot of other entries yet, so it'd be interesting to see. But anyway, this is 800 pounds of West Country Rock. West of Country Rock. 800 pounds west of Country Rock. Anyway, what it is it's 3 guys from the Riders from a long time ago singing songs. And kind of traditional stuff. Collages on here. Long Gone Lonesome Blues, a Hank Williams song. What else? Working Man Blues. So yeah, it is 3 of the dudes from the Saskatchewan Roughriders got together and put this album together. I'll just read you a little clip here. What happens when you mix a tight end, an offensive tackle, and a defensive end into a musical pot? You get the most amazing 770 pounds of delightful entertainment ever created. Let's do it for a lark, boomed big 6'5", 275-pound Clyde Brock. Why not? We all love music and love fun, enthusiastically echoed Big Cat 62 Tim Roth and 6'3", 245-pound Nolan Bailey. So if you do the math on that, it's 770 pounds or down close enough to 800 pounds west of Country Rock. So there you go. Again, I'd like to see how many others have an album by their favorite team. You know what I mean? I can think of the Bears, right? The Bears did that song back in the McMahon Fridge Perry days. Next up, concert memory for those that do watch the Wednesday night show, or for those that used to watch what I did before the live ones that I was doing for a while. Hey, I saw those guys talking about concerts. You were either tired of me talking about the fact I was going to see Bruce Springsteen, or maybe are tired of me talking about it now, but I'm going to do it one more time because I just loved it. It was just fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing Bruce Springsteen last year 2 times in both Winnipeg and Edmonton. The album that I have chosen to show for that is Letter to You, which is his most recent with the E Street Band. Did 3 or 4 songs from this live. Really good stuff. Still Bruce Springsteen-like, but one show I think was 3 hours and 15 minutes, and then the show in Edmonton was 3 hours and 30 minutes. 30 plus songs. you still got the full Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band experience. The band was fantastic. The backup singers were fantastic. The horn section, unbelievable. Bruce sounded good. Bruce was energetic. It was just unbelievably good. And I hope that wasn't the last time I get the chance to see him, because it took me forever to finally see him. I get my toque screwed on right here. And I loved it. So there you go. There's a concert memory, a recent concert memory. Next up is a shout out to a newer vinyl community channel. I'm going to give you two. One is somewhat new, and I talked about him earlier, but has been around for a little bit, and that is the Northern Vinyl Guys. My buddy Daryl, again, he and Rob and I from Rob from Northern Revolutions do a show on Wednesday night. We pick a topic, we get together for a couple hours, we invite you to come and join us and chat. It's always recorded and it gets posted later as well, and that's always on Rob's channel, which is Northern Revolutions. But Daryl, in the VC for a year now, so not brand new, but still looking for some subscribers. He does a bunch of cool stuff. Check him out. That is one. The other is a gentleman that we have on as a special guest from time to time. Most recently last week he was on, and that is Richard from Denver. Richard's Vinyl Taphouse, new channel name. It used to be just Richard S, but now it is Richard's Vinyl Taphouse. Great guy, eclectic taste. I love it. It's always good. He's doing a fantastic job, so get out there and support him. There is another newer channel in the VC to go and check out. All right, two questions to go. An album by a Canadian artist. So I'm going to give you a Canadian artist, and I'm going to give you a local band as well. And fourth album, I think fourth album. I should know that. Again, had a chance to see these guys last year to put on an unbelievably good show, and that is the Dead South, right out of here, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. To describe them is not crazy tough, but alt country is not correct. Roots rock is not correct. Just good. It's just good. Seek them out. Go and type in the Dead South. Listen to some of it. This is the most recent. This is from 2024. I'm not sure if there is necessarily, it's not like they're a hit machine by any means. They're one of those bands that just put out solid albums. You pick them up, and if you like them, you just like them. So check them out. In Hell I'll Be in Good Company is maybe a song that you have heard before. And if you watch the video for it, which you should, it will have Regina in the background a number of times. It also has some shots from Toronto, but they kind of interlaced a little bit of Regina and a little bit of Toronto. So the Dead South out of Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Check them out. This is the most recent. Chains and Stakes. I believe they've got 4 out right now. I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't. And for those that know me, facts are not always, I get stuff right most of the time. I'm going to go with about 90%. Yeah, about 90%. And it's not that I'm lying to you. I'm just kind of, off the top of my head. Again, one take. Why fact check when you can just do one take? And last but not least, an album part of me that came out the year of your birth. I am born in 1965. There was a few good ones, including Rubber Soul to choose from. A Rave Up with the Yardbirds was in there. Highway 61 Revisited. But I chose to go with these guys, and that is the Byrds and Mr. Tambourine Man. Not to, there's another dude that actually wrote and performed Mr. Tambourine Man, but I chose to go with the Byrds. Great album. So there you go. From 1965, June something, I believe, 1965. The Byrds and Mr. Tambourine Man. All right, that is going to do it. So, if you haven't already, check out, and anybody watching this is going to have already checked out MGK Boston's website, but Mike and Patty are fantastic people. Colton, the amazing kitty cat as well, makes a little bit of an appearance in their most recent video. I'm going to put links to everything where links go, so if you're looking for it, please do so there. So check out that. Check out the couple of channels that I suggested. And you know what? Hell, a little self-promotion. Come on by on Wednesday evenings, 8 p.m. Northern Revolutions, and I'll put a link to that as well. And join us and chat as well. Okay? Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mike and Patty and Colton. Thank you so much. I'm not sure how many of these videos I'm going to do, but when some buddies, and Mike was always a big supporter of my channel when I first started it, so when some buddies throw some challenges up there, I'll try and get in on them. All right, so there you go. There is my contribution Yummy cheesecake is always a good thing. Oh, and I didn't have someone join me. I'm not sure if Dave counts. That's a 3D picture, so I'm going to go with that. And if not, Angus, maybe that counts as well. And or there is a picture of me with Def Leppard up there. I don't know if any of that counts, but there you go. And then of course there's and or I've got the three-headed Billy Paul. Anyway, I'm done. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Look for all those links where they go, and have a wonderful day. Thanks, Mike and Patty and Colton. Bye for now.